We're on our way to the craft store to try to make one of these dog little floral collars. Also, sorry to all of you who thought Chloe and Oatmeal might have been getting married. This is not their wedding. They are still just in the dating phase. So if you didn't know, I'm getting married in like 2 months. This is a lie, guys. My wedding is in 1 month from editing this video now. Coming up so fast. Chloe is going to be the ring bearer. I asked her with this cute little dog ring toy. Of course, she said yes. But she has to have something to wear down the aisle. I thought I'd get one of these little flowery collars. But then I looked into it and there was none that I liked. Like, none of them really fit the vibe. So we're gonna go to the craft store. I'm gonna see if I can make one. I'm pretty crafty and I watched a tutorial, so I'm like, can't be that hard, right? Here we are. We ended up at Michael's craft store. They got some really great deals on florals. At first, I thought this was their only floral section, but just you wait and see, it got so much better. Of course, I knew I needed to get some white flowers. I thought this little baby bouquet of roses would work. And my color scheme is kind of like a pastel wildflower thing. I'll show you an inspo picture of my actual florals that I'm gonna have so you can kind of see the vibe that I'm going for. Then around the corner, I found these, but it was mainly greenery, and I think they were a little too big for what I was wanting. It kind of came in this big like rope thingy and I just wasn't going with the vibe. I'm also trying really hard to find florals that don't look obviously fake. That is my biggest pet peeve, is when the fake florals look like fake florals. Like these ones, way too bright. I am not interested in those. And then walking around the corner, we found the things that we're going to need to actually make the collar. So this is like a floral green tape that we can use to wrap the stems around this here wire. Actually, I think I wanted to go with this more like soft wire since it will be around her neck. This one was brown, looked like a stem, great. But guys, here's where it got serious. I was looking at these flowers, they were all a little too bright for me. And then I turned the corner and oh my gosh, floral heaven. Look at all of these. They actually look so real. They're super unique and I just was jaw on the floor. These are gorgeous. I of course had to look at all of my options. These little blue ones that I found were so pretty. Blue is definitely like the secondary color to my wedding bouquet. All of these were a little too bright for me. But then I turned this corner and on this side, oh my gosh, they had even more. This was the final pick and then we checked out and we are on our way home, guys. Let's hope this works out. I got the haul, it's looking great, and Chloe seems approving. She seems a little suspicious. Was kind of confused why they didn't smell like real flowers, but it's okay. So first you're gonna need these little pliers to clip the flowers and clip the wire. Of course you'll need your florals, you'll need this little wire, and some floral green tape. You'll also need a ribbon to tie around their neck. I think I'm gonna choose the blue one. We'll get our handy dandy measuring tape and make sure Chloe's neck size is right. You know what they say, measure twice, cut once. We don't wanna mess up this measurement. Okay, back to what we were doing. What you're gonna do is you're going to wanna measure out quadruple the amount of length that you measured. So I will cut 4 times the amount of Chloe's neck because you're going to fold this in half twice. That was a lot of numbers, but basically you just want this to be sturdy enough, and then you're going to twist one end into a loop and make sure it's secure, and then you're just gonna twist the entire thing to kind of make this braided chain. Overall, you should have 4 strands. That's why I said to fold it over twice. I guess that makes sense. Fold it once and then fold it in half again. Yeah. And then once you get to the end here, you just twist it into a loop. You're gonna tie your ribbon there in the end. This is what it should look like. Doesn't have to be perfect, doesn't have to be beautiful, but then you can get to the fun part, which is decorating. Here's a little visitor watching what we were doing. I decided to go ahead and separate all my florals so I kind of knew what I was working with and didn't have to do this in the meantime. Gave Chloe a little sniff. She was not amused since they just smell, of course, like fabric. And now I have this cool wand. This is some really boring footage. But this was a really long stem for some reason. These little flowers I just cut off, and then I realized that I could also just pluck them off, but that comes at a later time. A lot of these you don't really have to actually cut. You probably could have just pulled them off and it would have been the same thing. But I did want to make sure I had enough stem so that I could wrap the stem part to the collar. Oh, look at that. Bada bing, bada boom. Easy. The hardest part here was figuring out where to start. I've never done this before, so I just kind of like played around with it. I knew I wanted the main color to be white since my main floral color for the wedding is white. But figuring out kind of just like how to start was really difficult. Finally kind of figured out what I wanted to do, and then I got the green floral tape, and you just kind of cut your stem so that it's not going to be poking out too much, but you want to have enough so it's secure when you wrap the tape around it. Here I am after I put the white and blue flower on. Now I'm going to put this little sprig and yellow flower. I don't know what these flowers are. This got really complicated because I realized once you already had some flowers on there, you had to get a little creative with how you place the tape because you have to bend it around the existing florals. But you secure it onto the wire and then you put your florals in place and you wrap the green tape around the florals. You want to make sure it's pretty tight because this type of green floral ribbon was a little waxy. So it stuck to itself, but also it kind of easily came undone, which is a problem that I will discover soon enough. I was really proud of myself right here. I thought this was looking killer, which I'm not gonna lie, it is. But you will see the problem with it soon. Chloe was staring at ghosts while I was doing this. She was actually looking for squirrels, but there's never any there. So like I said, the problem, these flowers actually just started falling right out. So I got my handy dandy hot glue gun and I just put some glue in the little holes that they were falling out of. Like I said, the floral tape kind of loosened after a while. It stuck to itself, but not as tight as I needed it to. And I'm not gonna say skip the floral tape altogether because it was very helpful pinning things in place and it looks better than the brown wire. Also, it kind of makes it have a fuller look. So I definitely am going to tell you to still do that, but also use a hot glue gun. The final touches were putting on the little accent flowers. These I just kind of did with a hot glue gun. I found some little greenery to shove in places that looked empty. I'm only decorating kind of one side of the collar because the other one's going to be against her fur and no one will see it. And I decided to leave a gap in the center where I'm going to hang the rings and like the little ring box. Anyway, here we go, putting in the final flower. Love how that looks. Let's glue her down. This is being held together with hot glue and a dream. I really hope on my wedding day this holds up. I'm gonna hope and pray that it does. And then back to the ribbon, like I said in the very beginning, you need some ribbon. So you cut off a piece and you kind of put it through these loops that you originally made. This is so that you can tie the two ends together. Pretty simple. Very easy, nothing too much to it. And voila, here she is. I think she turned out really good, especially in this sunlight. She's looking better than she did inside. I really like how I filled all the gaps, and I think Chloe looks so cute. Oh, she thinks she looks cute too. Now you're wondering how the rings are gonna go here. Well, that empty spot in the middle that I mentioned, you are going to get a little ring box. Oops, sorry, Chloe. You're gonna get this ring box. I got mine from Amazon. It's a tiny leather ring box on a little keychain with a clip so the rings don't fall out. They have a lot of variations, but I liked this one because it seemed the most secure. And then you put your rings in there. Yep, Chloe gives it her stamp of approval. And I'm just gonna clip it right here in the middle. I'm hoping this won't go anywhere. Don't think it will. Let's all hope and pray Chloe does not see a squirrel down the aisle because these will be gone. The rings will be toast. But I'm not gonna be worried. Look at her. She's totally going to nail her job as the ring bearer. Let me know if you guys wanna see photos finally when she walks down the aisle. But thanks for watching. The next video post, I will be married, and that's crazy to say. Okay, bye.